Hey guys, and welcome to another Blender tutorial. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make this animation in Blender 2.9, and this is part 1. So there'll be a part 2 after this as well. Now this is my original blend file that you're looking at here that I have recently put on Instagram as well. Now the one we're going to be making today is almost the same. I just didn't animate the background and I didn't spend as much time with the lighting and materials, but it still looks pretty awesome, and it'll teach you a lot of interesting things. And I'm interested to see what you guys can do with this and expand on it, and definitely to put a bit more effort into the animation and lighting and stuff like that. So I'm going to be including this blend file on my Patreon. You can check the description below if you're interested in that. And I hope you guys stay safe and yeah, that everything goes well for you. So let's get into this little tutorial. Okay, so the new scene open up in Blender 2.9. I'm going to select all of the default objects. I'm going to hit X and delete. Now what we want to do is we want to go Shift A. We're going to go to our mesh options. We're going to add in a plane, and with this plane selected, we're going to tab into edit mode. And in edit mode, with all the vertices selected, just go into your front orthographic view by hitting 1, and then we're going to go E to extrude, and we're going to extrude it up about that much. Okay, so you can see here on the grid here, it's about 1 cube space like that, this little grid there. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit A to select everything again, and then we're going to go S and then Y. I'm going to scale it down on the Y just a little bit like this, so it's more rectangular rather than square. So once we have this bit in our front orthographic view again, we're going to go Shift D to duplicate and then Z, and we're going to bring this guy down so it's just sitting below this one here, and you can zoom in and see there's a little bit of a gap. And then we're just going to select, go to your face select this bottom face, so just the bottom face is selected. Then we're going to go G, Z and bring this down. Now this is going to be, the top bit is going to be the rubber padding that sits in between this base plate and the wooden board itself. So this is something that I've seen on some of my own skateboards. So what we're going to do now is quickly tab out of edit mode. And if you have scaled this for whatever reason inside of your object mode, make sure to go Control A and apply the scale, so that when we go over here to our modifiers, add modifier, and we add in a bevel modifier, it'll be using the scale. So we want to come here to the amount and we want to bring it down. So bring it down. So I'm going to go with something like 0.007 meters, and then come here to the segments and bump it up to 3, something like that should be fine. You come here to the limit method. I prefer to make it angle, but you can change that if you want it to look a little bit different. So with that done, I'm going to go to object and just enable shade smooth as well. So now you can see here we have smooth shading on this model here. So let's tab back into edit mode. And obviously one thing that's really going to help is to actually mirror this. I should have probably done it before, but an easy way to do that is just go to face select this face here. So in fact, if you go to your right orthographic view, so hit 3 to go into right orthographic view, we want to, in our right here, our right hand side, select both of these by holding in shift, so both these faces. Then we want to go G and we want to go Y and just move them in like this, just so they're going past this red line here. And then we're going to add a mirror modifier, enable clipping, and then just drag this guy, grab it and drag it above the bevel modifier. And then we can go X and, oh sorry, not X, we can go over here, disable the X here and then enable the Y. So it's being mirrored along the Y axis here. And then we can go G, Y and move these together till they clip, because we have clipping enabled. And then we're just gonna go, if you go into wireframe, you can see those two faces are still in there, which we don't want. So we're gonna go X and just delete those two faces, like that. So now, if we grab this and move it, you can see that those guys are fused together, which is what we want. Now it's going to be mirroring on this side here, which is good. So let's grab this guy here again, and we'll click on this edge select option. And we're going to come in here, and we're going to come in here and go Control R. You can see a yellow line appearing. And what we're going to do is we're going to double click. That's going to add that in. And then we're going to go Control B or Command B, and we're going to create another bevel like this. So we're going to bevel it, and then we're going to go about that much. Then we're going to go over here, click on the face select option, select this bottom face. Then we're going to go E to extrude, and we're going to extrude it down about this much. And then we're going to come in here and we're going to go Control R or Command R. You can add in another loop cut. You can see a yellow line, double click. And then we're going to go double G, so G twice, and that's going to slide it. We're going to slide it this way here. And then we're going to select this face down here, or this edge, because we have our edge select enabled. And we're going to go G, Z, and we're going to bring it down like that. Once we've done that, we're going to come over here. We're going to go Control R, double click, double G, slide in another edge loop here. And with this one, we're going to go to a face select now, select this face here. We're going to go E to extrude that face, like that. And then E to extrude it one more time, just a little bit. Then select this face here. Then go E to extrude, and we're going to extrude it till those two clip together. And then we're going to go X and just delete that face as well. So now we have this part here that looks like this. So it's now upside down. So if you actually go hit 1 to go into your front orthographic view, you're going to see this is what it looks like. Just like that. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to model the actual part that the wheels are connected to, whatever you call that thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to tab out of edit mode. Then we're going to grab this guy in object mode. We're going to go Shift D to duplicate. And then we're going to go G, Z, bring it down. And then tab into edit mode. Then with face select enabled, we're going to select this top face and then go Control I or Command I to inverse the selection. Then go X and delete faces. Now we only have this one face over here. So with this face, we just want to bring it down in edit mode till it's sitting right about here. You can see the little orange dot there as our origin point, and we want it roughly around here. Then we're going to tab into edit mode, and now we can select this face and go S to scale it down like this, and then R to rotate it like this. Now at the moment it's good because we actually have the mirror enabled on this, but what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the bevel here for now and give this guy a subdivision surface modifier. So you got a mirror and then underneath it a subdivision surface modifier. And now with this face selected here, we're going to go E to extrude it down, and we want to make sure it is at about this angle. So you can select everything and rotate it so it's lining up with the angle of this guy over here. So you can just kind of see there, right? It's lining up, doesn't have to be exact. And then we're going to go to our face select here, select this face now. Then we're going to go E to extrude it again, and we're going to extrude it out to about here. And then E to extrude one more time, just a little bit. Then go Control plus to grow the selection, and then S just to scale that down a bit, like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select this face down here. We're going to hit 7 or Control 7 or Command 7 to go to your bottom orthographic view. Then we're going to go G, X and move this over a little bit, like that. And then we're also going to extrude it. So we're going to hit E to extrude, bring that face in, and then G, Y, and moving it in to here, like this. And then we're going to go S to scale it a bit more, maybe bring it down a bit. So this guy is just slotting in there, and then we're going to go E one more time to extrude it, like that. So just like that. So you got that little part going into there. Tab out of edit mode, and then in our front orthographic view, in object mode, we can just move this guy back just a little bit. So this part essentially is mounted into there, right? And we can also rotate it just maybe a little bit more, bring it a bit more down. And in here is going to be that little rubber padding bit that kind of like acts as like the bendy part of this, so it can have some play. So first of all, let's just also come here to a subdivision surface modifier and just bump the level up in the viewport as well to 2. And then in edit mode, we're just going to add in some loop cuts here. So we're going to go Control R, double click, double G, just tighten this one up here. And the same here, Control R, double click, double G, just to tighten that up a bit. I'm coming here, Control R, double click, double G. And I'm just going to go grab this edge here, enable proportional editing. And in my top view here, I'm just going to kind of just move it back just a little bit like that. So this doesn't have to be precise. This is not so much being based on any sort of blueprints. It's kind of just to get a nice looking model that we can kind of add some nice lighting to and make like a final render. So we're not getting too technical here. So once that's done, in our front view, we're going to go Shift A. We're going to just add in a simple cylinder. Come down here to the add cylinder options, and let's make the count over here 8. And then we're going to go S, Z to scale this guy down, and then G, Z, bring it down. S to scale it, and we're just going to rotate it just to sandwich it in between there, like that. Maybe scale it up a bit. And then tab into edit mode. We're going to go Control R, double click, double G. Sorry, not double G, we're going to go S. S to scale that edge loop. So once you have it selected. And then we're going to give this guy a subdivision surface modifier. And you can also just select these top faces here and the one at the bottom here. Just go and delete those as well. So you just have this guy in the middle here, right? We can go to object and also enable shade smooth. So that's going to be like the little bendy part in there. Okay, you can also now select this guy over here, just tab into edit mode. And if you want, you can go in here, Control R, like this, double click, double G, and just slide it down. And then grab this face select option, select this face here, and then go E to extrude this in like this, and go X and delete that face. So this is kind of based, like I said, loosely on my own skateboard. It's very similar to this, but this is just kind of like an easy way to approach to modeling. So now we have the hard part done with modeling this bit. So now what we're going to do is model the wheels. So to model the wheels, what we're going to do is we're going to hit free to go into our right orthographic view. Then we're going to go Shift A, we're going to go to our mesh options, add in a cylinder. And this time we want to just come down to the add cylinder segment. Let's make the count over here 16. Then with this guy selected, we're going to go RX90 and hit enter. And then let's just bring it over to the side here. It doesn't have to be precise. So this is roughly bring it here. So it's kind of just lined up to the end here. And we can always edit this in a little bit as well. Don't worry too much. We're then going to tab into edit mode and we're going to go S, Y, and we're going to scale this down on the Y about this much. Okay, so you can make it a little bit wider depending on the board you're going for. So I'm just going to go something like that. Then with face select enabled, I'm going to select this face here. And then I'm going to go E to extrude, S to scale. Or you can also hit I to inset, by the way. It does the same thing pretty much. So I'm going to bring it in about this much. And then I'm going to go E to extrude it in to here, and then S to scale about that much. Okay. We're then also going to select the back face here. I'm not going to see this as much, so let's just go I to inset it. About the same, and then just E to extrude it in a little bit less, and then S to scale it down. So just something like that. And then with this guy, we're going to give it a bevel modifier. Make the limit method here angle, this is important. And then bump the segment count up to 3. And then on top of this, we're going to give it a subdivision surface modifier. Then we're going to tab out of edit mode, go to object, and enable shade smooth. Now to sharpen that up a little bit, all you have to simply do is just come here to the amount under the bevel and just decrease it. That's going to make it sharper for you. So we're going to go something like that. Also bump the viewport level up to 2. So here we have a nice looking wheel. And it's going to look a lot nicer, obviously, once we have the shading and stuff going. But we want to mirror this. So let's quickly give this guy a mirror. So on top of all of this, we're going to add a mirror. Click on the little eyedropper and then select this guy here. And let's set it to Y because we want to mirror along this Y axis right there. So now we have that done. Now, if you look at your right orthographic view, if these wheels are too far apart and look kind of weird, what you have to do is just come in here, select these, go to vertex select, just select this bridge thing here, G, Y, move these in till they kind of line up where the end of your wheel is. And this is kind of up to you, you know. With a skateboard, obviously too far looks weird, too close in, it's just too unstable. So I think something round about this looks fine. In fact, if we went Shift A and we just add in a cube, and we just went S4 to scale it up 4 times, I find that anything past that point looks kind of weird. So if you can keep it within that, that should look fine for this. I'm just going to get rid of that there. So here we have the wheel stem, but we also want to add in some little details here. It'll just make it look a little bit cooler. So go to your face select, just select this face in here, and then go E to extrude it out a little bit, and then S to scale, just a tiny bit. And then E to extrude and S to scale in like this, and then just E to extrude in just a little bit. That's going to kind of make it look a little bit like a washer, but we also want to make a simple nut. So we're going to go Shift A, just add in a cylinder, come over here to the vertex count, and let's make it, or vertex count, sorry, and let's make it 8. So we're going to just type in 8, and then we're going to just drop that down. We're going to go RX90, hit enter, and then go G, Z, bring it down till it's in the middle of this wheel here, and then S to scale it down. And then we're going to go G, Y, bring it in here, S, Y, scale it down on the Y, and just bring it so it's lining up roughly with the wheel here at the front. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then we're going to come Control A, apply to scale, very important. Let's give this guy a bevel, make the limit method angle, and let's bring that offset amount down, obviously. And bump the segment count up once. Go to object and enable shade smooth. Now with this guy here, we can simply just grab this face, select this face here, go I to inset it, and then E to extrude it in a little bit, like that, right? And then we can also just tab out of edit mode, select the wheel over here, tab into edit mode. With this face here selected at the back, we're going to go Shift D to duplicate it, S to scale it down, and then E just to extrude it through there. And then we're going to go E to extrude one more time, a little bit, and then S to scale, like that. Just so we have that guy sticking through like that. Just kind of makes it look like a nut there. And you can scale this as big or as small as you want. I just find that something like that is roughly a good size. Once again, kind of loosely based on my own skateboard. So now we have this part done. Now the board obviously is a super easy part. So let's just quickly do that. So with the board, we're going to go Shift A. We're going to add in a plane. And let's go S4 to scale it up 4 times, like that. And then we're going to go into edit mode, and we're going to go GX and move it forward, like this. Then we're going to give this guy a mirror modifier, enable clipping, and then just move it back along the X a bit, so GX, just so it clips together. So now it's one thing. Go to edge select, and then we're going to select this edge here. And then we're going to go GX, and it's up to you how long you want your skateboard to be. So I'm going to go with something like this, so not too long. And then I'm going to go E to extrude, and then Z, and just bring this guy up about that much. Then I'm going to go GX and move it forward, like that. So like I said, it really depends on the kind of skateboard you're trying to make. If you want it to be long, you can make it longer, but I'm going to just try and visually go for something roughly like that. I might bring this edge down on the Z a little bit, maybe in a little bit more. That's looking okay. Then I'm going to go give this guy a subdivision surface modifier. And then I'm going to come in here, Control R, double click, double G, and just slide in an edge loop to tighten that up a bit. And then I'm going to go Control R, add in a loop here, and then just bring it down a bit. So just trying to create this curved edge. Then I'm going to grab this guy here, this edge, enable proportional editing, and then go S, Y, and just scale that guy on the Y a bit. I'm going to roll my middle mouse button just to lower the fall off or increase it just a little bit, just so it does the second edge as well. Just about that much, just rounding it out. So that looks like a good skateboard to me. So I'm going to tab out of edit mode, go to object, and enable shade smooth. Obviously skateboard's on paper thin, so on top of these two, let's add a solidify. And let's take this solidify thickness amount and bring it into the negatives about this much. Now it also depends on the thickness, but I'm going to go with something like that. So in this case it's about 0.14, maybe even 1.3 or 1.1. You can always edit that later. And then on top of that, we're going to just add another subdivision surface modifier. Tab into edit mode, and what we're going to do is just go to edge select here, Shift and then Alt, and then click on this edge here, this one here, and this one. So we got all of the edges along the outside selected. Then we're going to go Shift E, and we're going to just create a edge crease. Shift E, like that. Tab out of edit mode, and let's bump the levels up in the viewport. So now we have our skateboard over here, like this. Right? We can always come in and edit a little bit later. We're just going to leave it like this for now. Let's go into our front view, and what we're going to do is we're going to select the wheels and the little hub that they're attached to over there. Then we're going to go GX and just move it forward to here. And what we're actually going to do is go over here, make sure median point is enabled. Then we're going to go RZ 180 and hit enter. So we've just rotated this guy around like that. Then go to your right orthographic view, just go G and then go Y and just move it into here. So it's in the middle of the skateboard, like that. Then we're going to go Shift D, X, and we're going to just move this guy back like this, just like that. So it's roughly sitting about the same location. Okay, so once we've done that, we can come in here if you want to obviously just make some little alterations to your skateboard. I might just add in another cut here and just bring this vertex out just a little bit along the X just to round it out a bit. But look at some references on the internet and try and just kind of get a style of board going that works for you. So I'm not going to go too much into it, just a basic board like that. I think that these wheels, I personally feel like they're a little bit too small. So I'm just going to scale them up just a little bit, like that. And obviously we also need to grab this nut over here and just scale that up just a little bit as well. Also, you can just go Shift D and then X, just move this nut to the other wheels at the back as well. Just so you have one here, like that. And with that guy, you can also give it a mirror. So the nut, you can also just give it a mirror as well. Click on the little eyedropper and then select that base plate at the top if you want. So it's mirrored on the other side. Whoop. Make sure to enable Y instead of the X. And you can do the same thing with this one. Just give it a mirror. Make sure it's the Y, not the X. Click on the little eyedropper and then select that little base plate at the top. And then it's mirrored on the other side, like that. And with the board here, I might just bring it up just a little bit more because we don't want it to be, this thing here to be embedded too much. Okay, so that's looking good. So I'm just going to hit A to select everything and then G, Z, and bring it up till those wheels are sitting on the floor here, like that. So there we have it. We pretty much have our skateboard done. So in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to add our materials and then do our little animation and just do like a final render. So that's going to be part 2.